Hey all, so in this video we are going to talk about how to see education from your Vedic chart, D1 chart, and from the D4 chart, which is also a very important chart for your education, but D1 chart is more important, right? So before we start this video, if you want to take paid consultation or healing or spiritual counseling, you can contact me for the same, and you can subscribe my channel. So let's start, guys. So the important planet for education are Venus and Mercury and Jupiter. The charts that I have seen if Mercury is not good or Jupiter is not good, the person doesn't have interest in study or is not able to study. Okay, even when Jupiter is in the fifth house or the ninth house, then also it creates obstruction in education. The person is very intelligent, the person has intelligence, but is not able to gain any degree or go to any institute. Okay, because this thing happens as the native has gained immense knowledge in the past life, and in this life, because of money, because of lack of interest, the native is not interested to go into any university or to gain any kind of degree. Okay, even they are not very much into studying. Okay, they gain practical knowledge, they are very knowledgeable, even more than anyone else, but they are into gaining practical knowledge. Okay, so for education, here we are talking about getting education from institute, from university, from college. So second house, fourth house, fifth and ninth house, these are the important houses that you have to see for checking if you will have good education or not. Okay, so second house shows basically your primary education. So if your second house is weak or second lord goes in the sixth house, eighth house or 12th house, it can show lack of interest during childhood, because there are many children, they basically, when they are small, they are not too much interested in studies. Okay, so second house can show obstruction in your education, obstruction in your primary education. Then comes the fourth house. Fourth house basically shows still high school, because in India, in 11th and 12th, you can change your subject, whatever subject you are interested in. So according to your Vedic chart, you select a subject, and if you have selected the right subject, then you will activate your fifth house. If you have selected the wrong one in which you are not interested, then you will be in the fourth only. Okay, if you are continuing with if you were not good in education till high school and you select the same subject in your 11th and 12th, then definitely you will be in the fourth house only. But if you change the subject, for example, you take arts, if your chart is not supporting science, you take arts or any creative subject, because people basically who are not into science, arts is good for them. Commerce, business, all these, economics, all these subjects are good for them, theoretical basically. So if you take these subjects, then maybe you can do well and activate your fifth house. Then basically fifth house shows your graduation, and ninth shows your higher learning, right? So if fifth house is not good, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Saturn will delay the education, but it can create obstruction and delay also, but it will not break the education. In rare cases it can break also, but if other houses like ninth house is supporting, Mercury supporting, then in that case you will be definitely able to complete your degree. But Rahu, Ketu will show no interest, like the native has no interest to study. But you have to see the position of Mercury also. Ketu can break education, because Ketu cuts off. Okay, Ketu separates. So no matter what, one time in life, break in education will happen. Even with Rahu Ketu, Rahu creates confusion, which subject to choose, which field to go. So in this only the native is confused. But Rahu Ketu, they will create obstruction and break in education for sure. This is a very sure thing, even in the ninth house also. So if you have Rahu Ketu in 5th or 9th, Jupiter and Mercury should be strong. In the Navamsha, 5th and 9th should be strong. In the D4 chart, Ascendant should be strong. Then only you will be able to have good education, otherwise no. And Mercury is a very important planet. I have seen in the chart, if Mercury is debilitated in the 12th house without any aspect, Mercury basically when it is alone in the debilitation sign, in the watery signs, then it will not give good results. Mercury needs support of other planets. Now if other planets are strong but you are seeing that the native has no money, if you are seeing poverty in the chart, because no matter how much we are intelligent, but nowadays if we don't have money, then definitely we will not be able to study. Then you have to see Badhak. Badhak is very important for movable signs, that is Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. It is the 11th house, that is Badhak. Okay, for fixed signs it is the 9th house, that is Badhak. Okay, for dual signs it is 7th house, that is Badhak. If your 5th, 9th goes in the Badhak, Mercury, Jupiter goes in the Badhak, or they become Badhak. So any connection of Badhak with, if Badhak is in the second, or second lord is with Badhak, then in that case your primary education can be disturbed. If ninth lord goes with Badhak, or Badhak sits in the 9th, your higher education can be obstructed. See, Badhak means obstruction, so Badhak will create obstruction. Conjunction aspect, any connection with 2nd, 4th, 5th or 9th of Badhak will create obstruction, but it will not delay your education, right? Like I told you, Ketu and Saturn can completely cut off your education without making you study ever in life. Mercury, when conjunction with Saturn, Mercury hemmed between malefics. Okay, Mercury in a very bad condition. The native, no matter how much intelligent, will not be able to clear education. Okay, Mercury is a very important planet for education, right? If Mercury is not good, then the native will not be able to study. Mercury, I'm not saying specific signs for Mercury, but I'm saying how the Mercury planet is placed. Okay, Mercury with planet, enemy planet Mars also creates obstruction. See, Saturn is friend of Mercury, but we know Saturn is a planet that basically is a planet of karma, isolation, delay. When it is with Mercury, it makes the person very slow and it creates obstruction, but that doesn't mean it will completely deny your education. For that you have to check properly 5th and 9th house. Then you also see in the D4 chart what is the situation, because so many children will take birth at the time of when you will take birth, and all will not have the same destiny, right? So you have to check all these things in your D4 chart. And D4 ascendant should be strong. D4 ascendant should not go in the 8th or 12th house, otherwise the native will not have any interest in education. In D4 chart, Rahu Ketu or Saturn basically should not sit in the 5th or the 9th house. If in the 9th house, means you can only study till graduation. If in the 5th house, then graduation also becomes problematic, or even if you graduate, then also it is not from the good institute and creates problem. Okay, So 10th house is also important because it shows the job, your work. So if you are educated, then only you will be able to do job, right? So 10th house should also be strong. Then it shows that for sure you can have good education. Okay. Now ascendant is very important of D4 chart. Mercury and Jupiter position in the D4 chart is important. Where Mercury is placed, here you have to see they are placed in the enemy sign, friendly or neutral sign, exalted or debilitated, any kind of yoga they are forming. Are they in the Kendra and the Trikon house? Very good. Kendra and the Trikon, very good. Okay, we don't have to read it according to the D1 chart, because in the D1 chart, even if exalted Jupiter or exalted Mercury can create obstruction in education. Okay, so not only on the basis of they are exalted or not, we have to see the other things as well. So what you have to see in the D4 chart, you have to see the position, how it is basically placed in the D4 chart. Is it exalted, debilitated, how it is posited, and is it forming any yoga? If it is not having any strength in the D4 chart, then you will not be able to study. Okay, not be able to complete any education. Then foreign education, 5th lord or 9th lord in the 12th house, in D1 or D4, anywhere I'm talking about, it shows you can go abroad for education. 5th and 9th lord conjunction anywhere is very good. 8th house and 4th house are not good for higher education, because they are 8th is 12th from 9th and 4th is 12th from 5th, so it is not good. Okay, then from this chart you can also see in which subject we can be interested. Some can be interested in science, some can be in the commercial, some can be in the arts, music, creativity, writing. So there are many fields in which the native can be interested. For this we can check the nakshatras, because nakshatras are very important to identify in which field the native can be interested. A person has strong Mars in the chart. Strong Mars basically shows interest in science. Okay, a strong Mercury Mars shows interest in science. Someone who has Mercury in Gemini, Virgo, or in specific signs, it can show the native can be into business field. Okay, so different field, because when we are not in the right field, then also we are not able to do good, right? So choosing the right field is important for success. For choosing the right field, I will make another video in which field we should go, because this becomes very important. When after completing our schooling, we have to choose a particular line in which we can go. Okay, so yeah, that is the thing. Now dasha is also very important, in which dasha you are running. If the dasha is not supporting your education in any case, then also 8th lord dasha cannot be good for higher education. So this way also we have to see. So D4 chart, D9 also is important, and the D1 chart. Then we can analyze in what field the native is interested, or will the native have good education or not. For example, the native is not interested in studying books and all those things. The native is interested in film making. For filmmaking or video editing, he is not interested in reading books. So obviously the native should go into that field. So of which field you are, that is also important. Nowadays reading books, and that is basically in the education institutions. So many people are not into that. If some people want to have practical knowledge, then they will definitely want to have practical only, rather than having any kind of theoretical knowledge. Okay, so all these things we have to see. Even the Ketu in the 5th house, if they get the right field, they will be interested. Okay, because everyone is meant to do anything, right? So that's why. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I will make one more video. Thank you. Take care, guys, and bye.